Hey everyone, this is Randy from BibleBuyingGuide.com. Today I'm taking a look at the New King James Wide Margin version of the Sovereign Collection. And I have it in the purple Leathersoft. It comes in several covers, but I only got this one this time around. So the purple Leathersoft looks like leather. It has a embossed floral pattern on the front and on the back with 4 raised spine hubs with gold printing on the spine. Has perimeter stitching. And then a paste down liner. The liner itself doubles as the presentation page. Now, like the King James, this is made in India. And I had mentioned before that I thought the paper was 36 GSM. It's actually 39 GSM. So there's the printing information. So this matches the New King James Sovereign Collection, but it adds wide margins. And then it also changes the red, some of the red highlights to gold, which actually breaks the page up a little bit better in my opinion. Looks really good. It is a double column, verse by verse layout with about an inch margin on the inside and outside. The inner column is actually just a little bit more margin to bring that out of the gutter. Touch of cockling, but not too bad. 9-point font, so it's just slightly smaller than the regular Sovereign. And the font is not quite as dark. We'll see that as we go. Lots of cross references in the bottom with the full set of footnotes. And as you can see, it has a poetic setting. Verse numbers are in red, and then the chapter numbers and section headings are in red, and then gold for the drop caps. I did notice one problem with some of the verse numbers. They touch the text, and in some cases overlap the text. But it's only a few pages, and it doesn't really affect readability, but it is there. Here's one that overlaps. Some are worse than others. Some are not even close, but then others overlap pretty close. Here's one. Here's some that are close compared to the other page, which is not. It's the only real issue I've seen with it, other than our ribbon is a little bit wonky. That ribbon is cut a little bad. Across the top we have the book name, chapter and verse number in red in the outer column, page number in the center, then a page summary in the inner column in gold. Now, unlike the King James Version, this one places Psalms and Proverbs in the standard New King James double column setting. It does look good. Poetry is broken in good places. I do prefer the King James setting, but it does look really good. I find the paper easy to turn. And this is good paper for notes. I've not written in this one. This is Lucinda, so I'm not going to write in it. Book start on a new page. It includes a short book introduction. And then it is red letter, so there's the text. It's printed with line matching, so it does match on both sides of the page. And in the back we have a concordance, pretty good sized concordance. There's how many entries we have for God. And then goddess, Godhead, godliness, godly, gods. So quite a bit in there. And then the concordance also is in wide margin. This is helpful if you want to write your own references in, or if you want to make definitions or some word studies or something next to the word. I like to do that a lot. So I'm glad that they've made this in wide margin. And then we have the Zondervan maps in the back. Printed on thick matte finish paper. It does not include an index, but they are annotated well. I find them easy to use. We're looking at about 6.5 by 9 5/8 by 1 3/4, and we'll weigh it. 2 pounds, 15.5 ounces. So that's a good size for carry and for reading. It's a good size for notes. I like this. It's a good size Bible, and it doesn't feel like a large Bible, but at the same time, it does have enough note space for good basic notes. So let's compare it to the original and then a few other editions. So here is the original Sovereign, and I've got it here in brown Leathersoft, and the brown Leathersoft is a smooth cover compared to the cover of the purple. And the only difference in size is the wide margins. So you're going to have wider margins top and bottom. Found that paper opaque. Actually more opaque than the original. And the original has red highlights. So here's how they compare. Now all the tools are the same. But they make a good combo. This is a good one for carry and for reading. And then there's a wide margin that matches. Pagination is exactly the same. Next is the large print wide margin reference Bible. And this is another Thomas Nelson edition. Big difference in the footprint. This is a large print edition with a wide margin on the outside. So if you're looking for something a little bit smaller, then the Sovereign is a better choice. But if you need the wider margin, there's the red letter. So here's how they compare. Now they have different they have different book introductions, so I'll show those. There's a couple of the book introductions. So they are different material. The references and the footnotes are the same. Both are double column verse by verse. And the larger print does have a little bit larger concordance, and then it has the same maps. So if you need a large print, this is a good choice. I kind of feel like this one is a little bit too large, so I prefer the Sovereign edition. And then last is the Cambridge wide margin, which also has a wider footprint, but it's a little bit thinner. So there's how the footprint looks. But the Cambridge is thinner. Cambridge has 38 GSM paper. It is also a red letter, so we'll compare red. Now the Cambridge is a paragraph edition, double column paragraph. There's how the red compares. Let's get a little bit of black on there too while we're at it. The Cambridge matches the Pitt Minion. And one advantage in the Cambridge is that it has ruled notebook paper in the back. And then of course it has the standard concordance, pretty good size concordance. And then it also has so lots of paper there to write on. And then the Cambridge maps. But now this one is in a different category, a different price range. But I did want to compare it because there are not a lot of wide margin New King James that have the wide margins on both sides. So that is my quick look at the New King James Sovereign wide margin. Now, they also have it available in genuine leather. So here's what the genuine leather would look like. In my case, this is a King James, but it would look exactly the same. So that's my quick look at the New King James Sovereign Wide Margin Collection. That is a good Bible. I like this a lot. I like that it's made in India, for one thing. It does have a little bit of cockling in the inner margin on some pages, but not many. The imitation leather doesn't have as much cockling as the genuine leather, at least when compared to the genuine leather of the King James. I like that it matches the regular Sovereign. The print is not quite as dark. The regular Sovereign is a little bit darker. And its red is a little bit brighter. But I actually prefer the wide margin. I prefer the look of the wide margin. And I prefer holding the wide margin, even though, I do like the personal size edition. The wide margin I feel is a better balance in design. There it is. I like that. So I'll place some links in the notes where you can make a purchase if you're interested. And that does help the channel, so I appreciate using my links. I'll also place a link to the written review at BibleBuyingGuide.com, where I always go into more detail. Thomas Nelson did supply this in exchange for an honest review. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.